How's it going, guys? Welcome to another video. Vicious Syndicate outdid themselves again with over 45 new decks you could be trying on day one, and in this video I'm gonna go over all of the 11 classes and also the decks I am planning to play today live on stream as soon as the expansion launches. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do, a like and a subscribe would be awesome, and I will be covering a lot of these new decks as soon as they come out, so you guys know exactly what to do with and against them. So stick around and check out all of the new guys that will be coming out really soon. Now, let's get into the decks.
You are not prepared!
Alrighty then, let's dive in. Vicious Syndicate did do a comprehensive Lost City of Un'Goro preview, so you guys might want to check it out, and I will also be linking the entire list of all the decks in the description, so you guys can go ahead and check out Vicious Syndicate themselves, support them, give them all the love they deserve, because they've definitely been doing some outstanding work in the Hearthstone field. Starting off with Death Knight. Death Knight did not strike me as too insane of a class from the new expansion. It feels like the class was already pretty much over the top, and the new cards are really not doing all that much, at least for me for now. So I'm not very excited of trying right about anything new for Death Knight, but I do believe that things like Space Death Knight and Menagerie Death Knight are still gonna be working pretty much close to the same, without really using too much of the new cards. And I did check out the decks. I felt like a lot of the card inclusions were just in there for the sake of having new stuff, so yeah, Frost Stitch Menagerie Death Knight kinda sounds interesting, but I don't know, it's really just kinda weird like that. I do believe that the old Menagerie list is probably gonna do a bit better than this. We do have several options here with Scrapbooking Quest Death Knight, with Elise Starship Death Knight, Karen Blood Control Death Knight, Stitched Blood Control Death Knight, and Frost Stitch Menagerie Death Knight, but I don't know. I'm not really planning on playing Death Knight tonight, unless the initial testing of the class actually looks a lot better than it did so far. Moving down to Demon Hunter, this was a class I kinda thought would be doing very well from the new expansion, but when we tried it on the Fury Crafting, I'm gotta be honest, it did not feel very impressive. So yeah, the quest reward for Demon Hunter felt a little bit on the lacking side, so I will not really be delving too much into that one either. I do believe again that maybe Hog Demon Hunter should be doing pretty much close to the same power level as it used to. Again, no real need of anything new included in there, so if you have that deck, you're still probably going to be doing quite well with it, which probably is going to be the final nail in the coffin, making Blizzard nerf this deck yet again. As you can see, Vicious Syndicate has provided several options here again, with Lean Quest Demon Hunter, a Ravenous Quest, Fumigate Starship, Elise Toru Demon Hunter, and that's about it. Moving down with Druid, this is where things start getting interesting, and again we do have several options here with Bucket Quest Druid. I will be actually trying Aggro Token Druid today, I do believe, because I did try it on the Brawlosium, and I was surprised at how strong this thing was without the quest. And the more I think about it, the more I think the quest actually feels like a win more card, because if you manage to actually stick a whiteboard 3 turns and still have it won, it's kinda weird. Like after that, with the quest, like why do you even need the quest? We have several cards that kinda do the same thing, with things like Overheat giving you +2/+2, with Hatchery basically giving you a good amount of stats like that. And we do have several different ways of actually going pretty wide with this thing, and this one's also utilizing the Bucket of Soldiers, which really does make a lot of sense on a deck like this, especially given we're also running Life Cycle, so you can actually destroy this bad boy or this bad egg too. So yeah, I think I will be trying this one today, and I am feeling excited about it. We can also see Hybridization Imbued Druid is out there, so you can actually draw a bunch of your cheap minions nice and quick like that, and also Low Protoss Druid looks interesting, but feels like the meta is gonna be a little bit too greedy. Keep in mind, like day one metas usually are pretty aggro heavy, so if you're not playing something that handles aggro well, or you're aggro yourself, well, you're probably not gonna have too much fun in the most part. For Hunter, people say the Quest Hunter is gonna be bad, and I'm willing to actually agree, but I will probably test one of the Quest Hunters today. I think the Master Quest Hunter is what I'm gonna be picking up today, and it is looking interesting. If you guys remember, the quest requires you to play a 1, 3, 5, and 7 attack beasts, so it might take a while, but not that long actually. You could be able to finish this thing off as soon as turn 5 and play the quest reward on 6, and then overwhelm your opponent with a bunch of big men, but I'm not really sure if that is enough in today's day and age of Hearthstone, so time will tell if this deck is good or bad. I kinda feel like it's a bait, but I might give it a try still. We can also see Esho Quest Hunter, which feels a little bit greedier. Token Beast Hunter didn't spark too much interest for me, and Neri Discover Hunter might be interesting. This one might be utilizing the new legendary card Neri, which is going to be discovering twice for you, more like casting twice for you, so you are going to fill your hand with a lot of extra stuff. The 1-drops you play will have double stats and whatnot. I don't know, it's not a very easy deck to play with, and it didn't do too well on the last meta, so I'm not sure how well it's going to be doing on this one, but you will be using things like Biopod and such, so you can actually OTK at the end with Ceaseless Expanse and XDR, so that might be interesting, but it's really not going to be too much because of the new cards, I do believe. Mage, on the other hand, on the Fury Crafting, I did try the Spell Quest Mage, and it felt interesting, but nothing too crazy. But Vicious Syndicate here are going for a different approach with Minion Quest Mage, which feels very, very interesting, actually. In this one, we're going to see all sorts of different minions discovering more minions, including the Stonehill Defender, so this guy discovering you free taunts, you picking the cheap one, and the quest playing the other expensive ones for you on the board, well, that can be pretty cool for you. So I am interested to see how this deck actually plays out in the real meta. And we also even run things like Malorn in this one, and at first I was like, wait, where's the imbue cards? But then I was like, why do we need imbue cards if they're gonna just plop on the board for free for you? To be fair, the Wild Gods do have some pretty nasty battle cries, so this is just gonna plop in for the sake of stats, so I'm not sure how strong that's gonna be, but I guess we're gonna find out now, aren't we? We also have Spell Quest Mage also kinda running the same idea, but this time more spell heavy. At least Protoss Mage looks interesting, but it looks just like the old Protoss Mage with a few new cards included. And Esho Elemental Mage actually is kinda interesting, because this is gonna be a pretty tribal fast deck. I'm not sure if it's gonna be stronger than Murloc Valleys, which is gonna be probably the deck to beat as soon as the meta starts, but it definitely does have a little bit of interesting theme going to it with all the elementals. We all remember how strong elementals used to be, but that is because of the cards that are no longer in this rotation, so there's that too. But yeah, this deck also might be something to look out for. For Paladin, obviously Murloc Paladin is going to be the deck to beat. We all saw how powerful it is. The quest is just way too easy to complete over and over again. The new Murlocs are pretty nutty, and all around aggro decks, so with a way to actually keep on buffing their minions without even sticking a board, well, that usually is kind of broken, and I do believe this quest is going to get nerfed at some point, and it's probably going to be sooner rather than later, so definitely be careful crafting too much for this one. To be fair, it doesn't require that much crafting. Well, Grunty is, was this guy from the mini set? I hope he was. Yeah, he was, because he is a StarCraft character, obviously. But definitely City Chief Esho is something you are not going to need in this deck to feel good about it, I can tell you that much, and I feel like they went a little bit too greedy with this list. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to go exactly with this list tonight, because there are quite a few interesting, in a bad way, inclusions. Like, I'm not really sure how much we need things like Crusader Aura and such, but it is definitely going to be a powerful variation of an already very powerful archetype, so you probably can't go wrong with either pile of Murlocs. We can also see Violet Imbue Pally being listed here, Violet Libram Paladin, Violet Drunk Paladin, and Menagerie Aggro Paladin. And the whole point of these being called Violet is because the Treasure Gill, this guy could be casting you a nice little 2-drop spell for you for free, basically, thins out the deck like that, so it is kind of interesting. I'm not very sure that Imbue Pally is going to be very happy running this over Equality, however, so I don't know, it's kind of weird, honestly. For Priest, the quest definitely looks interesting, but also a little bit too interesting for my liking, if I gotta be honest. We can see Vicious Syndicate are listing Serpent Quest Priest out there. Resurrect Protoss Priest looks pretty interesting, because you actually get to resurrect your good Protoss stuff over and over again thanks to the new spell Resuscitate. And if you get yourself your freaking Sentry back like that with the Reborn on it, well, that's gonna be even more discounts on your Mothership, and respectively from all of the things the Mothership is gonna be giving you, so does look pretty powerful, not gonna lie. It might actually be a very interesting deck to try today, and I actually might give it a go myself. We can also see there's a Resuscitate Menagerie Priest out there. Bandage 7/7 Priest sounds interesting. Definitely looks like a pretty interesting pile of cards. This one, it revolves around this Wilted Shadow, I guess, so you heal your opponent for free and he gets smacked for 7+. Kinda interesting, but feels a little bit too outlandish for something like this to actually work in the meta. We will have to wait and see, but personally I will not be holding my breath for this one. With Rogue, the Quest Rogue definitely felt interesting. I do believe something is gonna come out of the Rogue class. probably later rather than sooner, however, because Rogue is usually a little bit a more complicated class to get figured out on day one, but there's definitely something out there for sure. Cultist Cycle Rogue is also an option you might want to try, Elise Firak Rogue, Elise Protoss Rogue, that kind of stuff. For Shaman, I did like Menagerie Quest Shaman on the Fury crafting, but I'm not sure it's gonna actually withstand the real meta, so it is something to look out for, but I'm really not sure if this thing is gonna be all that it's cracked up to be as it was on the Fury crafting. Aggro Menagerie Shaman is also an option. Fiery Asteroid Shaman is something to look out, and Flight Murmur Shaman is also up there. This one definitely looks kinda greedy, very expensive, but then again, what would a Murmur Shaman look like in the end of the day? For Warlock, I did try the Temporary Quest Warlock on the Fear crafting, and it felt a little bit on the Dogwater side, so I'm not really sure how strong it's gonna be in the real meta either. Some people are swearing by it, but we will have to wait and see how that one pans out. Quest Control Warlock is also up there. Elise Control Warlock looks interesting, and there's also Elise Location Warlock, which is definitely sounding spicy, because in the end of the day, Elise does gives you an extra location, so that would make it easier for you to be dropping Seaside Giants, even though after the nerf they got, they don't feel like dropping all that much nowadays, now do they? And last but not least, we have Warrior, and the quest for Warrior did not feel like a win condition on its own like a lot of the other quests, but it is a nice little supplement for you just living for 10 turns, and let's face it, you're a warrior, what else do you have to do? We have AFK Quest Warrior as a potential, Elise Control Warrior, Dragon Enrage Warrior looks interesting, and Briar Spawn Drake Warrior. We can take a look at the AFK Quest Warrior and how it looks like, and the reason why it's called AFK is not because it runs AFK in here, but because you basically are trying to live. But like I said, I'm not sure that the win condition is there, guys. Like, it's cool to have the quest, getting an extra turn with the mage stuff is definitely awesome, but aside from that, you still need to win against the opponent somehow, and even with an extra turn, if you're not building some actual threats, I'm not sure how that one's gonna go, so we're gonna have to wait and see what warrior really is gonna get in the new expansion. So yeah, that's about it for all of the 11 classes. Again, huge thank you to Vicious Syndicate for providing us with all of this thing, and definitely give them a check and see for yourself what deck you might want to be picking up today. As they said, be careful crafting anything in the first few hours, heck even days of the new expansion, because these are not tested, they just look good on paper, but when faced with the real meta, well, unexpected things can happen. So save your dust if you're low on it, and be careful because we might get a hop nerf if something is way too good than it's supposed to. Wink wink, Murloc Pally. So yeah, you might want to skip out the first few days of crafting anything too expensive, just play what you already have. If you have Fishing Priest, Menagerie Death Knight, Hog Demon Hunter, I do believe all of those are still going to be working at least as good as tier 2 decks. So yeah, be careful crafting too much if you are low on that dust area. Don't forget to check me out live tonight, where I will be trying some of these decks, and I'll do my best to give you guys detailed guides, mulligans, and everything you need to know to actually play well with and against these decks. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, a like and subscribe would be awesome. And thanks for watching. I'm Kris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.